Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, I can't tell you my name. Some of you might know me. It wouldn't bother me if you figured out who I am, but I wouldn't want you to find out who my boyfriend is, because I didn't get his permission to share this story. We'd been dating for 1.5 years when this whole story started. Our relationship was going so well. We were having an amazing time together. We even started making plans for the future. At that time, I believed he was my soulmate. Where I grew up, there was always a lot of snow in the winter. My mom taught me to sew so I could keep myself busy during the long winter days. First, I started sewing dresses for my dolls, then our dog, and finally for my mom and sister. I had become so good that I was able to make both my junior high and high school prom dresses. One of my friends saw a dress on TV that she really loved. She looked all over the city but couldn't find anything similar. She asked me to make one for her. I did it very easily, in one night. In the morning, I put it on and took a selfie. Then I put it next to a photo of the original dress and shared it on Instagram. I never thought it would get so many likes. More importantly, I got over 2,000 new followers in one day. After that, I started making other dresses from TV shows and movies and posting them on Instagram. I was getting so many new followers. I got 100,000 in 2 months. Each photo I posted was getting tens of thousands of likes. People wanted me to sew dresses for them. I became an Instagram celebrity in no time. I had to sew a lot more dresses to be able to make regular Instagram posts. I didn't care about school anymore. I was sewing nonstop. There was one more thing that I wasn't paying attention to. My boyfriend. We weren't seeing each other as much as we used to. He had begun complaining about it, and he was right. You're wasting your time on Instagram. So what if you have 1 million followers? What's that going to get you? All of this social media stuff is just nonsense, he said, criticizing me. At that time, I had over 300,000 followers. An agency got in touch with me. They told me my Instagram following was large enough for brand collaborations. I signed a contract with them. They would start recommending me to brands. The following week, I got my first offer. I made a post promoting a new model of leggings. After that, the ad sales kept coming. I was doing 2 brand collabs per week, and honestly, I was making more money than I could have imagined. My boyfriend naturally regretted everything he had been saying. So this is why people are trying to become social media stars. I didn't know you could make this much money from it, he was saying. The weird part was the same guy who used to call social media nonsense wouldn't stop talking about it. Up until then, he'd only posted like 10 selfies and maybe a bunch of food shots, but now he was posting a ton of photos and stories every day. Initially, he tried to do some stuff on his own, but the photos he posted were nothing special, so he wasn't getting any new followers. One day, he told me he wanted to talk about something important. He asked me, "Will you help me increase my following?" I said, "Of course I will, but you need to work on developing a theme. You can't increase the number of your followers by posting regular selfies." He said, "Thanks, but I want to do it my way. I don't have to make as much as you do anyway. Just enough for me to pay my bills." For some reason, he didn't like it when I offered him advice or gave him direction. Still, even after that, I did my best to help him. We were posting photos and stories featuring the 2 of us on both of our accounts. I also tagged his account every chance I got. I was able to help him a little bit. He got up to almost 2,000 followers. But the growth was so slow, and unfortunately, it seemed difficult to grow it enough for a brand collabs. My follower count, on the other hand, was snowballing. I was so close to having 1 million followers. My boyfriend became obsessed with growing his Instagram. He wanted to be in every post I made for my own account. But I was only posting photos or videos of dresses I had sewn. From the very beginning, I had been modeling them myself. Including him in the photos didn't fit the theme. At first, I couldn't tell him that, but finally he pushed me too far. One day, he asked me to post a photo of just him on my account. I was having none of that, so I told him there was no way I would do that. He went literally crazy over this. We had a huge fight. He told me that I was jealous of him, that I saw him as competition, and that's why I didn't want to help him. Of course, that was totally unfair. I gave him a ton of examples of how I'd been supporting him. When he had nothing to say, he changed his strategy. "You're not spending as much time with me, babe. I don't care about Instagram. I asked for your help because I wanted to spend more time with you," he said. Now I understand he was lying, but I didn't get it then. I was naive enough to believe that he was only doing that stuff to be with me. I spent the next month working on his Instagram account instead of mine. But no matter how hard I tried, he wouldn't even get to 5,000 followers. Because his photos and videos were nothing special. There was no reason for people to follow him. My boyfriend just wasn't capable of understanding that. When we were together, all we talked about was Instagram. Or rather, his Instagram account. I was so bored, but I still couldn't see that he was only using me to become Instagram famous. One evening, I met with a girl from the agency I work with to talk about new projects. She had noticed that I had been trying to support my boyfriend. We were chatting after the meeting when she said, "You are very naive. Don't get me wrong, but your boyfriend doesn't seem to be as nice as you." I didn't tell her anything, but those words stayed with me. Was my boyfriend really just using me? Was it possible that I couldn't see this because I was head over heels in love with him? Later that night, I had an idea. Yes, I loved my boyfriend, but I had to test him. Otherwise, this doubt would be nagging at me the whole time, and that would not be good for our relationship. I decided to do something really simple. I was going to quit Instagram. Was my boyfriend going to change his attitude when it was just me? I definitely had to see what would happen. The next morning, I texted him, "Babe, I got the best news for you. I quit Instagram. From now on, it's just you and me." He answered right away, "No way, you can't be serious." I wrote, "Go on Instagram and look. See for yourself." A few minutes later, he wrote, "I'm coming to you now." He was very tense when he arrived. He said he was really shocked that I shut down my account. Actually, I had only temporarily deactivated it, but he didn't know that. With a smile, I said, "No more Instagram. I deleted everything. I'm going to give you as much attention as I used to. Do you want to go camping this weekend?" He seemed not to have heard anything I said. "I still can't believe you. What you did was wrong. You're playing with both of our futures," he said. "What does this have to do with your future? You can do whatever you want. This is my decision." "I thought you'd be happy, but you don't look like you are," I said. He stared at me. He left without saying anything. I suddenly broke into tears. To be honest with you, I thought that he would probably react this way when he found out that I deleted my Instagram. In fact, I was pretty sure he would, but I was still hoping that he wouldn't. I wanted him to prove me wrong, but unfortunately, he didn't, and this made me really upset. The next day, I didn't hear from him at all. I decided to wait. There was this girl with 300,000 followers whom I had introduced to him. That afternoon, he posted a story with her. When he figured out that he wasn't going to be able to use me, he wasted no time and moved on to someone else. I thought we were over, but I still wanted to talk to him one last time. I called him. He didn't pick up. He texted an hour later, "Shooting all day. Very busy. I'll call you tomorrow." I had always ended all my relationships in person, but this time it didn't seem possible. So I wanted to give us an ending more in line with the reason why we broke up. And I ended our relationship with a story. I reactivated my Instagram account. I think it was the first time that I was using the broken heart emoji. I made it huge and just wrote, "It's over," under it, and shared it as a story. Of course, not only my boyfriend, but also all the people who followed me now knew my relationship was over. I got thousands of consolation messages. Over the next few months, my ex wanted to see me. If I hadn't restored my Instagram account, I would have at least met him to talk. But I was about to reach 1.5 million followers. And I knew now that this was all he cared about. So did he end up being successful? Of course not. After a while, the Instagram celebrities he had become friends with thanks to me turned their backs on him. Right after we broke up, I checked out his page a couple of times, but then I lost interest. These days, I'm getting closer to someone new. He's also an Instagram star like me, and he has a lot more followers than I do. We talked about Instagram a little bit on our first date, but that was it. Instagram never comes up in our conversations, as if we have a secret agreement between us. When we're together, we don't even check our phones. Thank you for listening to my story. If you'd like to get notified about new videos, you can subscribe to this channel now. See you!